Hey, everybody, you're listening to What Are You Doing in Denmark, the podcast that helps you make Denmark make sense. My name is Derek Hartman, and I am joined with some friends around the table to tell you about the news and headlines going on in Denmark. We are joined by Brooke Black. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And Mike Walsh.
Glad to be back.
Back again.
Yes.
We have so many fun and interesting headlines going on. Brooke, I know you have a lot of animal news, which seems so appropriate because you like the zoo, you like the parks. Tell us about what's going on.
I have an affinity for animals and complicated relationship with zoos, but since I've lived here for 4 years, I feel I've read in the news about a lot of escaped zoo animals.
Yeah.
It'll be someone who lives close to a zoo and they have a lemur in their backyard and they're used to having these friendly visitors. And last week, a zebra escaped from Jutland's Park Zoo near Herning during the introduction of a new male animal to the enclosure. It was from Herning Folkeblad. The male was introduced into an enclosure with 2 female zebras, but the procedure did not go smoothly, leading
What's
to
the
a
procedure? Just opening the gate?
Right.
Here you go. No, there was a scuffle during which the 3 animals damaged the gate and the fence that was meant to contain them. So 3 of the zebras got out. 2 were quickly captured with tranquilizer darts, and 1 got out entirely.
She was like, "I'm not having it. Get me away from this male zebra."
Yeah, and it was at large for maybe 7 days. It came from Dortmund Zoo in Germany, was later spotted near Fjellstervang School, a few kilometers from home. And the thing with zebras is they are skittish, like many animals in the wild. They don't know what they're doing, so it's a sensitive situation. Even though it's funny, it is dangerous. The longer the zebra is out there in the world, the more dangerous it is for them and for others. The police were warned, and then the search was called on a Wednesday evening due to darkness. But there was a Swedish outlet that had said zebra still at large. But eventually they found the zebra among some cows, which I'm glad they found the zebra. And I was wondering what must be on the zebra's mind. This seems like a safe bunch of bodies for me to be near,
right?
And
on top of the fact, the zebra's from the savannah, and it's been cold in Denmark the last week. So and it's snowed.
Maybe it huddled nearby the cows to get some warmth. That could be a thing,
right?
And it's eating. I don't actually know what zebras eat.
Grass, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like so the zebra's fine and nobody got hurt, right? So we're clear to make fun of this as much as we want.
I think so.
Okay,
I think so, but I feel like I can't say that because I'm not a zookeeper.
Sure.
So maybe there would be a lot more this is actually very scary, and of course there was a stressful moment for these people, but there have been some more serious cases. I don't know if you all have been to Ray Park in Abeltoft, but I've been there a lot. My uncle works there. He used to volunteer to get people to not pick on the monkeys.
Oh my God. Wait. Was it the park where you can drive around and the monkeys will come?
That's a different one. That's, I've also been to the 2 of those. I guess I've been to a lot of
So
zoos
why
here.
were people picking on the monkeys?
Well, because you are walking among them, in this big enclosure. And so he just wanted to make sure people didn't get too close because they are very friendly. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of babies.
Don't they throw their shit at you?
No, I mean, maybe.
Is that an urban legend?
Maybe. But then, long story short, he drives the train now, and there is a great train. I love trains too. I'm such a nerd. But it drives around the whole park. So now he is working his way up to being the steam train engineer, but he has the electric engineer, and all the train enthusiasts are all these men in overalls that are
But they
hanging out.
Part, it's a little bit of cosplay. They come in with the overall and the white
a little bit
stripe hat
in a more casual way, and then they're just drinking their coffee in the little section where it's for the volunteers. But anyway, so this train also, I'm getting back to my point about escaped animals. It takes you through this Arctic tundra section where there's white wolves, Arctic wolves. There's so many amazing animals at this zoo, and it's gigantic. The guy who started it is some millionaire that started a zoo, and you could sleep there. Anyway, a story from last year, or maybe 2 years ago now, was that one of the Arctic wolves had dug its way under the fence.
Oh my God.
And went crazy in the zoo and ate 31 flamingos and 2 storks and a crowned crane, and it was actually, it caused a big issue because they had to euthanize the wolf, which is a rare species, but also they needed to control what was happening. And then there was all this concern about, are the safety precautions good enough at the zoo?
Did he get a fair trial?
Yeah, right. Because he just dug his way under, and so that was in the news for quite a while. On a more serious note, but I do feel there's a lot of escaped animals in Denmark.
Yeah, I don't feel like people should be able to just open zoos.
I don't know. I don't know what the criteria are.
Let the government do it.
But wait, didn't we all?
Yeah, no, we all watched
Tiger King, and we understand
Joe Exotic. We all saw it.
Yeah.
We know it's a problem.
Joe Exotic.
Right, Tiger King.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Joe Exotic. I remember Tiger King, but I knew it was,
I think
Exotic Joe.
That's his government name now, right? Didn't he change his name or something?
Think so.
I forget.
I mean, he's not exactly... Nothing against zoo owners, but I don't know that they're all...
On the up and up.
Yeah, I don't know that. You get a little obsessive. You get a little...
I mean, this sounds like a little bit like a Jurassic Park situation.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of the we know what we're doing.
Nature taking its course.
Right. You're blaming
nature
a wolf
finds a way.
for being a wolf.
Yeah, it's hungry.
Right.
And it's like pink things. I'm going to eat those.
Right. It's like,
Right.
Like basically, he's like, I'm at an all-you-can-eat buffet. Like this is like an all-inclusive resort here.
He's like, I hate it here. I'm going to my last ascent into I'm just going to eat everything I can.
Yeah, the
and then hope for the best.
I don't blame the guy. Like
a little
good for
fusion.
him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly.
The wolf they put down. The zebras were okay.
The zebras are fine, as far as I know. Hopefully, no other animals have escaped. I actually don't know how hard it is to keep them all in, because I even read
apparently it's really difficult.
It was from 2020 that a Copenhagen zoo panda had escaped and was roaming the zoo inside the zoo. But is it that easy to just be whoops, I forgot to lock? Or
especially because the pandas they're notorious for not doing anything. I feel like
they're not very motivated.
They're not very motivated.
Not
to do
curious
anything.
animals,
right? So. For a panda to be able to escape when they're not motivated to do anything,
I don't feel like they leave the bamboo.
Right.
They're always in a very close radius of the bamboo, I feel.
Maybe they're going to the gift shop where they have the random bamboo
But have we noticed it's also these are all white and black animals, right? So it's the zebra, the Arctic wolf, and the panda bear. Is there a colorblind zookeeper issue here?
I didn't think about that.
I feel like I feel like something's going on, and it's not the
I read
animals.
about head stripes as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
But imagine living in that house where you're we have a visitor. It's not like a little sparrow, but today it's a
it's a panda. Yeah.
Oh my God.
To find the zebra with the cows is really fun.
Yeah.
Because it's they herd with other white and black animals, and they were just well, this isn't really my style. This isn't my print. But
the little dairy farmer going out there in the morning and being one of these things is not like the other.
That would be amazing to be the person that okay. You transformed overnight,
right?
Bessie.
Not milking you. Yeah.
all the cows are on Ozempic, and
the zebra didn't want to be with
wearing different stripes.
It was the man, right? And then the male, and then they didn't want to be with the females.
Yeah.
So he's I'd rather be with these cows than these ladies.
I mean, these ladies that are rejecting me and ran away.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah, the scuffle was we don't want to be with you.
And the snow must have made it easier to hide.
Because it's been snowing, right? I didn't think about that. Anyway, so that's my animal news.
That's
it's an ongoing saga. I'm sure maybe there'll be some animals in my backyard. We'll see.
Right. I'm curious about what's going to come next.
They're bound to escape.
We want the best safety for all animals. Let's make that clear. We want everyone to be good.
Keep them
safe.
Keep them safe and locked up, and keep them from getting out and causing havoc and destroying other birds. It seems like they may need better surveillance, and there's a story about that going on. So last month, and it went into effect in I think the last week, but last month Parliament approved the ability for stores to implement audio surveillance of their stores. So of course we know CCTV, and you're often on video when you go into a store. I think we've just all kind of been acculturated to accepting that. But now, and Parliament's been slammed for this, they allow for stores now to implement audio surveillance, and it's strongly criticized, especially by trade unions, because there's a lot of implications there. If you're basically an employee at 7-Eleven. I went into 7-Eleven and I saw they have a little sticker on the counter that says you may be under audio surveillance for just being at the counter. If you're going to work and they're listening to, or they can listen to all of your conversations with your colleagues, all of your interactions, if there is an interaction or not with the people that you're ringing up, but also for the customers too. They're hearing everything. And apparently it's to prevent shoplifting.
I mean,
really?
Yeah.
I would think the shoplifting.
That's such a fraction of what it's who's going to be hey man, let's lift this these packs of Cheetos. No one's going to say that out loud.
Hear that? Did you hear that?
Yeah.
It sounds like somebody stealing Cheetos.
And also we all have a phone, and that they're listening to us.
Right.
So in that way it's already happening, but this is it seems more insidious for some reason.
It just feels weird. It feels very what is it 1984? That's the
I just
it
want
feels very
the real
Black
answer.
Mirror,
yeah,
to use a modern reference.
But it's interesting how the audio surveillance feels like a bridge too far. By having CCTV all over the place, being able to see us, especially with AI technology, can do face recognition. They can tell where you are anywhere. I get it, because the audio conversation is kind of like, yeah, we hate our boss, don't we? Like that kind of conversation.
Yeah. Can it be used against them? Like,
Yeah.
I think it's a. I mean, look, and if
talking shit with fellow employees is like a God-given right.
Isn't that
Yes.
part
Because
of it?
like
Yeah.
it's like, you know, you're working together on something, and it doesn't have to be like, sometimes it can get too negative if it's not in a good space, but it's healthy, I think, to be like, do we agree with this? Like, you know, that's if that's what they're combating, that makes me really
just
nervous.
to flirt or tell dirty jokes
Or
when
yeah.
there's no customers in line. Like, it's just weird. It's also weird as a customer to be like, I'm at 7-Eleven and you need to record the conversation I have.
The irony being that, especially here in Denmark, it's generally like dead silent in the 7-Eleven until like the drunk people come in like Friday and
until
Saturday
a certain
night.
time of night or a certain time of day or a certain day of the week, rather.
I just don't get it. Like, is it for people to not unionize? Like,
I don't think it's that. I think they say it's just something that can be a measure against shoplifting.
Yeah.
can be a measure against shoplifting.
To me, it just doesn't. I feel like you don't need.
You wouldn't
I feel
pick
like
up
you have
on
the video.
that.
You don't really need the audio.
Yeah.
Of that.
But you're right. Why does the audio part bother me so much? Right?
I think it's because like the audio is tied to like your thoughts. Like I think we're just like, because you're being seen everywhere, but usually not heard.
Yeah.
But I think it is different. Because even in public, like, you know, you walk around in public, like everyone can see you, like, oh, there's Derek over there. But like, they can't hear what you're saying.
Those lip readers are really on social media. They're like,
They're my
taking
favorite.
over.
They're like everything's taking over our jobs.
Like who was saying what at the Oscars or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, but now it's going to be at 7-Eleven.
At 7-Eleven,
instead.
who at the 7-Eleven diaries? It's like overheard in New York or like all of those.
yeah.
I mean, that would be a funny like if there was something funny out of it, but otherwise it feels. Okay.
And the Justice Minister noted that the use of audio surveillance still has to comply with data protection regulations, but I don't understand.
How does that work?
Like, if you're capturing somebody's voice, that's still not. Look, you don't opt in. I mean, there's just a sign on the counter at 7-Eleven that says you may be recorded and under audio surveillance. I'm like, well, I've got nothing to hide. I mean, you can see that I buy gummy bears every other day, or like how many 6-packs of.
I guess if anyone wanted to talk shit, they could just text each other. But still, that's
surveyed too, I guess.
Are you allowed to be on your phone?
I mean, what they pushed for then, like somebody from IDA, which I think is the engineers union, they suggested, why don't you just come up with a solution where almost like a panic button or like call police button, where like if you have a difficult exchange with a customer and you don't necessarily need to call the police because it's not violent, maybe they haven't stolen anything that you know of, but you're just confronting them on something or they're being irate, that you can press a button to have it recorded just so that you're protected. I feel like in that case, I would be, even as a consumer, I would be fine with that because I don't cause a ruckus when I go into a store. But if my kid was working there or, family member was working there, I wouldn't want them being recorded all day, but I would want them to have that protection.
Yes.
If needed, something more than the video, which kind of makes sense. In that case, I'm like, record it. So you can be like, yes, this person yelled a slur or this person threatened the employee. Like in that case, I think it could be of value, but not. You don't have to record all of them to get that. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed. You need that little like probable cause kind of thing to justify it. I agree. That's a good point.
Yeah. Again, I'm not a police officer, but I don't necessarily think we need.
I wouldn't have even noticed had you not said anything.
No, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so check it out. I mean, I saw it in 7-Eleven this week, and I was like, buying my gummy bears, and I was like, they're recording me. Okay, well, here you go. Listen to this excellent conversation.
Listen to my crappy Danish as I tried to interact with the.
Yeah, nobody wants that. Nobody's using that. But speaking of police, the Danish National Police are considering leaving X, aka Twitter, because nobody bothered calling it X or the Gulf of America. So we still call it Twitter, right? But
Totino's presents the Gulf of Home Depot or whatever it was.
Yeah, so the Danish police may get off of X, and they basically quote different things, obviously changing the algorithm and misinformation and all kinds of things that kind of made them want to develop a solution. Basically, they have used X often for communicating things quickly. You know, there was value in it before, but they think there's there's a clear need to have their own way of communicating outside of a platform that is not necessarily working the way that it was when they developed their original presence on the
Are they going to go to like Blue Sky or?
I don't know. So apparently,
what's the Danish version? I know it's Blue Sky.
they're looking at basically an independent solution. So the Norwegian National Police did something similar where they developed a model for information sharing, and journalists have kind of co-developed something. It's basically a close communication channel that's designed for like specifically for just information sharing. So getting out just the facts on a platform that I don't think this is too controversial to say, but a platform that isn't really about facts anymore. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of misinformation. They admit themselves that they're not monitoring or trying to do anything to combat misinformation. I think it's fair for police and
there's
journalists.
so much porn on X now.
It's basically just porn.
Insane.
Yeah. Okay.
I love that. Like Kanye actually got like it was like, oh, this is too much porn. Like there's not like
too much porn for
Kanye
Kanye West.
Yeah, but like Elon stopped him. You know, when he went on his rant or whatever rant there was, the most recent one. But I'm always surprised these days when people are like, oh, and here's where I'm on X, and and it's like, you are like, you're still
yeah.
Like it's a
almost
shame because like as a PR person, so many of my journalist friends, that's how I connected with them was Twitter. Yeah. And so I know a lot of them have moved over to Blue Sky, but like X is like, I can't, it's like so poisoned to me.
Yeah.
That like, but I guess people are still, are they using it more in the US now? Because they're like, well, can't beat them, join them. Like, it is a cesspool.
It really is. I know like a lot of the Danish journalism outlets, DR, Ritzau, have all left X.
It's just,
as well.
Yeah.
So and it's not surprising.
It's a shame because Twitter, I feel, if it's an emergency, like where the police, like I feel like people could share tips. They could be like, hey, like calling like for people to be accountable. And I don't know with everything split now, like how that will work. I feel like things are getting continuously fragmented. And of course, like it makes sense that they would consider another channel. But I wonder, is the Norwegian one working?
I don't know. I haven't looked at. We could maybe do a follow up. It is interesting to see what these possible alternatives could lead to. But
the hard part is like, especially for like public safety outfits, like Twitter was amazing for that because you could instantly put something out there in a way that having to go through the news and having it go through or whatever with that. Like it was like the town crier basically.
Yeah. I feel like Threads is that a little bit. Because I'm seeing a lot of stuff that, like, for example, protests in the U.S. that, like, are not being picked up by the media. But now I feel like more people are kind of coming in there. And I know that it's still all owned by Zuck. And I joined Blue Sky, but I'm not really, like, it's like another, I can't wrap my head around, like, another thing to be
right. I hate learning a new app every time one of them is problematic.
Were you, like, a big Vine person or, like?
I wasn't creating on Vine, but I definitely liked watching. Yeah.
I miss, like, the highlights of Vine, like, the best of. Like, some, like, will stay in my head forever.
I loved like Twitter, like mid 2010s. I feel like early 2010s, mid 2010s was like
that was the place to be.
Twitter, like to live watch anything was fantastic.
Oh, it was so much fun to like comment on Game of Thrones or whatever it was.
Game
it
of
was
Thrones
like,
or sporting events or like the Oscars.
That was like the last time I feel like with the age of streaming, you could actually come together and everyone's watching the same thing on a Sunday night. And that could be White Lotus now, but it's not. It's more like in your individual WhatsApp groups or Facebook groups or whatever.
And it was fun because you felt like you could see the other side of famous people, journalists or celebrities or whatever else, because it's like, oh, they're just like us. They're also watching Game of Thrones. They're also watching this game.
It felt kind of smart. Even if people were saying like stupid things, it just felt like, hey, this is a place for intelligent conversation, but also like, what is the latest funny thing? Like, I don't know. It was really special. And now it's,
I miss the innocence of like pre-first Trump era internet. Like I feel like that's when it all went downhill because it just turned into like it's a cesspool.
It just made everything
shouting and exclamation points.
Just turning up the emotion on everything.
Yes.
Yeah. So I get why the Danish police are like, we don't want to be a part of this.
No.
Yeah.
I'm guessing there's also a problem with, say, like parody accounts because getting a blue check costs almost nothing. And so you can, how do you know if just because they have the Politi like logo on there, is it the actual
that's very true.
police or is it just some Yahoo trying to...
Some Yahoo? Did you say Yahoo?
Yeah, we
I haven't heard that
on
in
Yahoo.
so long.
You know, could get on Yahoo, get a Yahoo email.
Oh, yes. You can
Hotmail.
email me at my Hotmail. I got a GeoCities page that you can go check out. I did have one back in the day.
But Mike, you also had some news about Elon Musk and his fuckery.
Yeah, so I think keeping with the spirit of the times, a fight between a U.S. president and a famous Dane is going on. This was not about
president?
Greenland.
This is
Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah, and Elon's the president, right?
He's running the country.
Not First Lady Ellen Musk, but the real president,
the real
Elon
one.
Musk.
So there's a spat this week between Elon Musk and the beloved Danish astronaut Andreas Mogensen, where Elon basically tried to claim that the Biden administration left. You may remember there's a story from
You may
last
remember
year.
there was a Biden administration.
There was a Biden administration that also had a president who wasn't really in charge of everything. Something say the same.
Yeah.
But there was a case where there were a couple of NASA astronauts that went up to the International Space Station, and they kind of got stuck there because they couldn't get back. There was an issue with the new rocket, whatever else. So Musk is trying to say that basically the Biden administration messed up, and if Trump was in charge and if Elon was in charge, they could have rescued them right away. And then the Danish astronaut Andreas Mogensen quickly shut down the claim, saying it was a lie, and pointed out that NASA had planned since last September that they were going to come home as part of the next mission that was going up anyways. To which Musk, because Musk takes any bait that's out there, decided to reply by saying that Andreas Mogensen is fully retarded and insisted that SpaceX could have brought them home months ago, but couldn't explain how. I feel like it's a classic theme of Elon Musk, which is trying to be the smartest person in the world, claiming that everyone else is an idiot and an asshole, but also not having any substance to bring to the conversation.
Such a clown.
I don't need to prove anything. I can just say what I want, pop off, spout misinformation. I mean, no wonder the Danish police were like, yeah, that's enough.
Yeah, why am I getting involved with this as well?
But yeah. And not the Dane I would really fuck with either. I mean, everybody in this country loves him.
Oh yeah, like he's fantastic.
A good dude.
He's a good dude. We saw him speak at the 4th of July.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Did you go to Rebel back?
Yeah, we went to Rebel.
Went to Rebel, and he was the keynote speaker.
This was like 4 years ago.
That's a bucket list thing for me.
It was 21.
21.
Yeah, because the Euros were going there. It was 21.
Yeah.
It seems like it's such a strange, these hills are American, beloved partnership with Danes, and for 4th of July we shall have.
Yeah, so if you don't know, the Rebel Festival is held in Denmark. It's the largest 4th of July, the largest American Independence Day celebration outside of the U.S. And they hold it in Denmark every year. Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, the grounds are actually really cool as well. Like it's in this hollow between two hills, and it's kind of funny because you walk down and there's all 50 state flags going down, and then a big American flag, a big Danish flag. They have a museum of Danish immigration, which is actually, it's small, but it was really interesting. Yeah. Because I
got to add that to my list.
Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. And it's just outside of Aalborg, so it's not a difficult place to get to.
Yeah, Aalborg and get there easily.
Definitely a good spot to go to. So that's where...
He must have been very charismatic is what I'm...
Yeah. It's funny because you'd think astronauts, these are generally brilliant scientists.
These are the actual smart people, not Elon Musk.
Yeah, exactly.
Things that kids back in the day aspired to be. You know? I mean, hopefully still, but
He just pays smart people to do things and then take credit for them, Elon Musk.
Exactly.
This guy's actually smart.
I didn't know that. I missed the whole part about Elon not actually being the CEO of Tesla, or the founder. He legally won a battle to say he was the founder, but he's not actually the founder, which there was some, I think that kind of information needs to get out there more. Is this is all not...
Oh, he's a glory hound.
Mirrors,
very familiar, obviously.
His main skill is breaking things and then taking credit for picking up the pieces when he broke it in the first place.
I just hate that he said
I'm just
slur,
so sick of hearing about
it. I'm also sick of hearing about him. And he is who I think about more than the other one.
Yeah.
And now I don't even want to say his name either, and I hate that the last thing I think about before I go to bed is some stupid news article I read with him lately. And I'm like, oh, this is the person I'm thinking about before bed. That's
But we should say both of their names. I mean, because they are one and the same. Elon Musk wouldn't be doing these things that he's doing in the U.S. if it wasn't for Donald Trump.
Right.
Donald Trump is allowing all of these things to happen. He's allowing this.
I think he's just like a bot, or he's not even there. He's like a shell, a McDonald's shell.
They're both just trolls. They literally don't want to do anything. They don't want to govern. They just want to troll. They just want to grift the system.
Correct.
And I'm not saying that some of these things that have come up aren't important. We should be talking about security in a different way because it's no longer immediately after World War II. We should be looking at Arctic security, but the bombast and these ridiculous things and calling people people retarded. You know what I'm saying? This isn't, if there truly are two people stuck in the International Space Station, who, by the way, themselves say, we're not stuck here.
Yeah.
Since September, we've been
Our
planning
feelings
to come
aren't
home.
hurt, or like, yeah,
Right.
we're good. Like, well,
This is not how to do it. This is not how to govern, guys. And it's just like,
Correct.
it's just sick.
Well, it's the glory hounding. Basically, the whole story behind this is they could have sent up another rocket to go rescue them, but they were like, why would we do that? Like,
Another
it's a
one's
huge
coming.
other expense. Another one coming. Stay up there. There's plenty of food. Like, float around, have fun. Yeah, have fun. You're supposed to be there for 7 days, but like, enjoy it. The view's amazing. Like, they're fine. But it's like releasing like with Trump, where he made them release the water in California.
Right, for no
even
reason.
for
Oh
no
my
reason. It
God.
just wasted water that was unknown. That's the kind of world that we're in right now. It's again back to the Twitter piece. Like
truth
it's
doesn't matter.
Truth doesn't matter. It's
No.
just being able to troll and get under someone's skin. And my hope is that this is just basically like a teenage boy anger, like shout, slam the door, and eventually we'll come back to some semblance of
it has to
normalcy.
be like when you piss off that many people in the world
Yeah.
at the same time, there has to be some kind of repercussions.
I'm not pissed off. I'm just like, we deserve better. Like you're not trolling me in a way where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna cry. Like you look stupid. You're making me look stupid. You're making my country look stupid. Like that's what I'm sick of. And also, like nobody voted for fucking Elon Musk. Like,
No.
come on, get the guy out of there. Trump, why are you letting him in there? Like you won. You do it. You do it. You do these things. You're in charge, because it also gives him a cushion. It gives him a way to be like, because eventually Elon Musk isn't going to be there for the next 4 years. We know how Trump gets rid of people.
Yes.
So like now he can.
You
like,
think
when,
so?
Yeah. When this will inevitably split.
He'll like take it too far, and
something
then,
will
Yes.
happen.
You don't think that's already happening?
He's setting him up
He's
to be.
pushing the
He's
button
setting
so
it up
much.
like when this stuff doesn't work. When there's pushback a bit about the cuts, the policy things that Elon Musk is doing, then Trump can say, "This wasn't me. This was Elon Musk. See, and I got rid of him. Aren't I the great guy? Aren't
Yep.
I? Now reelect me or do whatever. Even though
I would rather that be it.
But let's end on something positive. We found
Found the zebra.
That's the
There are
important
3
part.
zebras.
I hope the zebra's okay. What if like how are they going to put them on the same enclosure? If there's, maybe they like would play some nice music. I don't know. Like,
I think,
what do you do
it's
to
all
like
because
calm
of-
down zebras?
It's all because Joe Biden stranded this zebra.
Right.
It's political.
Yeah,
It's
political.
obviously. It's
you
obvious.
know?
Let's
Yeah.
put the zebra on X, and we can see what can happen
I'd
there.
rather that.
But let's all
Yeah.
get on the train in Ray Park, because it is
Yeah, it
a
sounds
real joy.
fun.
It's such a great place. It really is. Like, I mean, despite like the terrible thing that happened with the wolf, like it is one of my favorite zoos, and I feel like they do treat the animals well and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spring
So-
trip for us there.
Yeah, visit your closest Danish zoo and get your mind off of
Before the zoo visits you.
before the zoo visits you. Yeah, they are doing home visits now. Wow. Wonderful. Well, thank you guys for listening and watching and spending some time with us. And we hope that you have a wonderful week. Hi.
Hi.